Walk around the compound. Pew, 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 pew. Zoom. No-e. No-e. Did you ever hear the wolf cry? From the blue corn moon? Did you ever dance with the devil in the pale moonlight? Wait a minute. I think I got my references mixed up. It's still windy. Hello, all you big cat lovers out there. It's me, Derek, again. Welcome to another super duper fantastic episode of the Walk Around the Compound webcast. We're going to be doing another one of these wicked whipping windcasts. Oh, there's urine. He's like, I know. How'd that happen? How'd that happen? Milo. Milo. Oh my gosh, look at you. Look at how handsome. Look how handsome this guy is. Milo. Milo. Over here. Handsome. Profile. Shot. Shot. Oh, beautiful. Hey, snap, snap. Ha ha ha. And capture, capture. Okay. Some of those captures weren't as good as others, but that's okay. The quality of the captures was variable. Oh. Huh. See, again, that's my, let me try to think of the next thing to say. Sigh. Let me think of the next thing to say, sigh. Hi. Row. 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 Hey, sweetie. Hey, pretty girl. What an old leopard you are. What an old leopard you are. Yes, down beats. Old lady leopard. Hi. Old pretty girl. Yeah, you keep up with them grooming, you know? It's good. Self-care, pride, all that stuff. I've been doing some of that intermittent fasting stuff, and it's pretty cool. I dig it. I first heard about it, gosh, I don't know. I don't think it was a year ago, something like that. It's one of those Joe Rogan things. Dr. Rhonda, she was talking about it, but then kind of maybe played around with it, but didn't know about it too much back then, and then it's just like, okay, well, I'm not doing this no more. But then it's like I didn't do it right. Just different things that you got to kind of consider. But one of our volunteers, Chris, he actually does it, and he's had a great deal of success with it. And it kind of like had me and Heidi, like, because actually Heidi is doing it as well. We're both doing it. So we actually kind of said like, let's give it another shot. Because we both, that's the thing. It's like we had both like thought it was like we heard about it, learned about it, and everything again about like a year ago, and we're like, that sounds pretty cool. Kind of, sort of gave it a shot, but again, didn't stick with it because probably didn't know enough about it. Chris comes around. He's like, that's what I'm doing. OBT dubs. A lot of success from it. And then we're like, all right, let's do this again. But do it right this time. Whoa, whoa. I think that he tripped. I think he tripped and he's trying to play it off. Jake, did you trip? Did you trip and are trying to now play it off like you're some kind of cool cat? Like you're some kind of cool, I meant to do that cat? Ooh, that's okay, I won't tell no one. That's okay, I won't tell no one your secret. Safe. You're safe, bud. Your secret's safe with me. Of course, people might be like, Derek, what's intermittent fasting? And I'll tell you, it's where you only eat within a certain window of your day. So you only consume food within a specific set window. And it has a few like really interesting benefits, key kind of elements and attributes, and there's reasons why it kind of works. Now here's the thing, I'm going to try to speak from the things that I know, and I'm going to probably mischaracterize things, or I'm going to missay things. I am not a dietitian, I am not a medical expert, so I'm going to say the stuff, I'm going to parrot the stuff that I heard, but I'm probably going to get some of it wrong. Okay? Just bear with me. But from what I understand, you're trying to kind of regulate and control insulin production in your body, and you're trying to regulate and control blood sugar, and you're trying to actually make it so that, from what I understand, you're trying to make it so that your body doesn't, hi baby, that your body doesn't continuously like pump out glucose into your blood throughout the day, because what happens with that is that your body will, I mean, of course, use that as fuel, and kind of what the trick is to exhaust your supply of blood sugar, and then your body will then start to utilize your stored fat reserves in your body. And it takes, like, so the whole thing is like you have to have longer periods in the day where you're actually not eating. So you're not causing a spike in your blood sugar, so your body's not producing insulin. Yeah, it gets kind of complicated, but it kind of, again, it goes along with that whole kind of thing with maybe people who are kind of hunter-gatherer type people. We are designed by our very nature, our mammalian nature, our survival is dependent on our ability to actually store calories. It's like we consume food and we store food, and we are designed to be able to do that very quickly, because it behooves us out in like a wild and unforgiving environment. And then we are also designed to release or give away our stored energy reserves very slowly, because again, it just makes more sense. So when you're out, like if you're a cave person, you're trying to survive out in the wild, makes more sense that you would be able to like get fat, store fat, and then get rid of it relatively slowly. That's what I'm saying. So this is almost kind of, it's like a biohack. It's like a biohack, bro, in a way. And there's so many different ways you can do it, and you gotta look, if there's any time that you, of course, I'm not a medical professional, so if you ever are going to do something like this, of course you have to consult a doctor, you have to do all that stuff, you have to do your research, you have to do your homework. Don't listen to the guy who talks to tigers for like nutrition and dietary advice. I'm just telling you what I'm doing right now, and I'm enjoying it. So basically, for the most part, excuse me, for the most part, I don't eat traditional breakfast. I don't eat breakfast or lunch. I usually make it till about like 3, 4, 5 in the afternoon most days before I eat. I mean, it's actually, well, technically I say most days, it's like all days, but I switch up like kind of when, I should be right most days. But yeah, it's like, oh, stink. Oh, a link stink. A link stink. So yeah, I'll wait. I don't eat until like about 3, 4, 5 in the afternoon. And then, but I'll drink, of course, you stay hydrated. You have to maintain like your electrolytes. So different things like magnesium, potassium, sodium, calcium. Those are important things, but those are actually better. Those are more or less things you have to kind of regulate when you're doing prolonged fasts, like fasting for like more than like 2 or 3 days kind of thing. Where'd she go? Hi. Hi. Hello. Hi. And then when it gets time to like, so then I have a feeding window. And when it gets to that point, sure, like when you're first kind of adjusting to the schedule, your initial kind of thing is to just like, I'm so hungry, and you just want to just like throw a bunch, you just want to hoover up stuff, you want to vacuum. And then eventually it gets to the point where you're just eating kind of like regular just meal. It's nothing too, hold on. I didn't want to have that squeaky gate filling up the cast. So it's like, yeah, by the time I actually start eating like about 4 or 5 in the afternoon, I'm not just like just shoveling food in my, I'm just eating just regular normal stuff. Not getting crazy with it. And then that's about it. And then the other, like sometimes people will have windows, like sometimes they'll have their window in the early part of the day. Usually people have like an 8-hour window. So it's like 16 hours of you're not eating anything that has like anything that can be converted into glucose, basically. So there are little caveat kind of things. And it's also, some people say like, well, is it like a certain calorie limitation? It's like, yeah, that's if you really want to do the stuff that's where it's like you're tricking your body into like burning off like fat reserves, then yeah, you have to kind of do things relatively strictly. Now, of course, like you can, drinking like water with electrolytes, and you can have like tea, green tea, black tea, and black coffee. Yeah, you can't have like no cream, no sugar. So that was a bit of like, for me, that was kind of that was a little struggle bus, because I like my cream. And it was, honestly, I take the back. It wasn't that bad. Maybe the first day I'm just like, oh, I don't get to put my cream. And then after one day, it's like, this is fine. I still love coffee, and I still drink coffee. I just don't put cream in it anymore. And that's all it was. You just put cream. Actually, heavy whipping cream. Oh boy. Yeah. Just wanted you to know how hardcore I got. Hi, Boopalooka. Hi, Mr. Man. Hi, Mr. Man. Hi, Mr. Man. Hi. Hi. So yeah, I will be able to, I'll drink black coffee and water until the afternoon. And then I'm able to, I'm more or less kind of free to, eat how I would want. Which, that's the other thing. And the thing with that is that, like, quote, what I want is, it's not that much. I'm meaning, like, in a relative sense. I'm getting, like, my proper day's worth of calories. Also, the other thing you have to realize, if you have any sort of, if you do have, like, an eating disorder kind of thing, like, people, and this is something that they say, it's like, fasting is not the style of thing that you should ever try, because it gets you, hold on, sorry about that. Because it simulates and mimics basically, it's such an easy kind of gateway, and it tricks people like I'm doing a healthy thing. No, because I'm in that 8-hour window. I'm eating like my sustainable amount of calories that I would need for, my necessary life functions. I am athletic. I do work out. I do play sports and stuff like that with some of the people that I work with. I work outside. So yeah, it's not that so I don't eat for 16 hours and then I have a couple of sprigs of kale. It's certainly not that. I'm eating steak and all that, yeah. Love it. Arr. Cheese. Also, it's like if you're a young person, you'd get, again, you gotta wait till, I would imagine that it's probably the best, like, yeah, again, don't just do it because I said that. You like do your research. Like younger people, if you're still growing, like you're gonna, it's like the cats. You gotta think like the cat. So if you're like a more of a juvenile type, like, I'm gonna try intermittent fasting. Like, no. We have our cats eat every 4 days. Our cats eat every 4 days, but they're adults. Whenever they're young, whenever they're babies, they have to eat like every few hours. They have to drink bottle. They have to drink bottles every few hours, and then once they start getting older, then they have to like eat a couple times a day, and then once a day, and then every other day, and then it's eventually as their bodies build and develop and grow, they have to. So that's the type of thing. So said, I am a grown ass man, quote unquote. What are you doing? What are you doing? Also, like some of the benefits that happens is that what you're doing is, and like this is actually where it gets a little controversial, because some people say just like, no, you shouldn't drink black coffee when you're intermittent fasting, because you actually do start to. It does like cause like there's a weird effect where it does cause like an insulin, it does raise your insulin levels, but it's actually it's like a byproduct of another process, and like it actually can be a phantom kind of thing where people think that it's like beginning the metabolic cycle for the day when it's not. It's weird. Anyway, there's some other different kind of things that go along with it where I believe this is kind of how it is, where your liver is producing various kind of compounds and enzymes and whatnot, basically to like it has a toolkit that it needs to kind of build up every day. Like, this is my digestive toolkit, and I need to have resources, I need to have tools in order to like process the food that my human is going to put through, my filter. That's a big part of what that liver does. And whenever you start that process, whenever you like first eat, like a lot of times people are going to eat like your traditional breakfast. When you first eat in the morning, your liver's like, and go, and it kicks off this process where it actually starts secreting different enzymes into your again, I'm not a medical person, so I'm describing processes that, like, they're not going to be completely right. But it's like, for the most part, you got to put an asterisk next to this stuff. That's why I say do your research. But it starts the metabolic process, and but from what I understand and from the things I've heard, like, you have a final, like, your liver can only make so much of that stuff within like a day. Oh my god! Oh my god! What are you doing? Holy glucose, my blood sugar. Oh, my blood sugar's on the rise. But your liver can only generate so much of those different compounds, and it can only generate so much of those enzymes within like certain time frames. And whenever you, like, the first time that you like consume food or consume items that can be converted into glucose, which is basically anything. What about sugar-free Coke, like Diet Coke? It's like, yes, there's so many, yes. There's multiple things in there that, yes, there's different things. You're tricking it. You can take like vitamins, like tea, water, black coffee, like during your fasting period. But inside your feeding window, eat whatever you want. Knock yourself out. It's fine. When you first start that feeding process, like, yeah, your liver's like, all right, it's time to go. It's time to digest stuff. And it's going to just keep on just kind of secreting those different things into your bloodstream, I think. And then it eventually runs out. That's like one of the big reasons why people say, like, you shouldn't eat before bed, but a lot of times it has more to do with the fact that people eat breakfast, they eat lunch, they eat dinner, and then usually around that dinner time is kind of like when they're running out of some of those digestive enzymes. And if you try to eat snacks before you go to bed, you are out of your kind of metabolic boosters, your natural metabolic boosters, basically. And you're going to retain and store that snack more readily and more easily. That's why I say, just like, yeah, like 2 to 4 hours before bedtime, shouldn't eat. And yeah, I mean, they're right. If you're eating traditionally, then yes, absolutely. That is why. Yeah, it takes a little bit to kind of get used to. For me, it was only a few days. Some people, it takes a few weeks. And you think that you're going to be hungry all the time, and really you're not. You're just not. Your body you really get used to it. You get super used to it. Where it's just like, and like, oh my gosh, I'll forget. Like, oh crap, it'll be like 6. And I'm like, oh God, I haven't even eaten yet today. But I'm fine. And again, it's like, because I'll still remember to stay hydrated, and I'm, still like keeping up with my electrolytes. Again, those are important kind of things you got to do. So it just, yeah, if you're not doing that stuff, if you're pissing out all your minerals, then you're going to basically, every time you stand up, you're going to fall over and clunk your head on the coffee table. That's not a good thing. That's not a good thing. There's other benefits, like the autophagy process. Autophagy is a thing that happens in fasting, where you're actually kickstarting the process of where your body reabsorbs senescent cells, and senescent cells are ostensibly zombie cells. They're not really alive. They're not really dead. They are like biologically alive. They're cells that are in like comas. They're not functional. They're brain dead, basically. They do not provide any benefit to the body, but they do take resources, and they also leak out kind of toxic chemicals, or just like toxic compounds to the other viable cells surrounding it. That's a process as you age. Senescence happens as you age, where basically as your cells replicate, because we're always changing cells, we're always making new cells. As your body replenishes itself and generates new cells, your chromosomes actually, like, they get depleted. Or what is it? The telomeres. The telomeres, like I've heard them described as like the little plastic thing at the end of your shoelaces. The telomeres are that for your chromosomes, like your strands of your DNA, kind of thing. And as your cells replicate, those telomeres kind of they shrink, and they kind of break off like bit by bit, and eventually they get to the point where the chromosome is like completely corrupted, and the cell is like, again, it's alive, but it's just there, just kind of like that's it. That's what it's doing. That's what it's doing. Hi, sorry. Chris is just like, what the hell is happening? What's going on out there? I know, I'm doing like weird zombie. There's Chris. I'm telling the people about fasting, and I was telling them about you.
Works really well, 50 pounds.
They're 50. 50 pounds. Holy crapola. Oh my gosh. Oh, Hannah, you're so hilarious. I don't know if you could hear her. She said, I fasted between breakfast and lunch. Hardy har, Hannah har. Yeah, Chris lost 50 pounds. And the thing about it, though, is that there's a super ton. That's such a dumb way to describe it. There's a super ton. There's a lot of literature to back it up. This is not... Be like, these are another one of these kind of fad things. It's like, no, it's not just the. I'm telling you, I know fads when I see them. This thing is kind of more peer review. And don't get me wrong, like, you have to understand, a lot of different times it's not just like you do this one thing. No, it's like you have to have like a bunch of different things within your overall kind of your health sphere. It's not just any one thing. I mean, I I don't do like full on keto or anything like that, or zero carbohydrates, but I do try to limit my carbohydrate intake. I do try to limit the amount of gluten. I do try to limit processed food. Again, it's not complete like strict adherence. Like I shan't eat anything that's processed, but I try to avoid it. And it's just makes, you feel better. You just feel better. I don't know. And I'm getting there. I think I've already lost about like 10 or 12 pounds, something like that. Pants are looser. That's always good. Hello. Hi. Hello, Mr. Man. What's she doing? Are you eating stuff? Crumbs? Crumbs in his jackets is precious. I want to be able to see Lackey. I probably should come over here. Hi. Hi. Oh, you're getting PO'd at me too? P.O. Pissed off. Oh, anyway, but autophagy and senescence, ostensibly, those cells can cause, like, they're from what there's a lot of, I guess, recent research that would suggest that a lot of, like, problems that are age-related issues can be linked to cell senescence and the buildup of senescent cells in your body. Like, everyone, like, as you get older, if you are past, like, the age of 10, pretty much, it's like you have senescent cells, or at least if you're past 20, something like that, you have senescent cells in your body, and the older you get, the more you get. But what intermittent fasting, or just fasting in general, like periods of fasting, will do is it kickstarts the process of your body actually going through and then identifying. Because that's the other thing, like your body, if it's sufficiently like given like food and calories all the time and it's not doing, it'll basically just kind of gloss over like those kind of zombie cells, and it doesn't do anything with them. But when you are fasting, what your body does is like, all right, well, we need to oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. They're being cute. They're being cute. They're grooming each other. Oh my gosh. But when you're in a period of when you're in a fasted state and your blood sugar levels are low, your body's like, well, we still have to find energy. We still need energy, so like we're gonna start eating body fat reserves, and we're gonna start breaking down these worthless cells, these cells that aren't doing anything, because we still need to like sustain the life functions of this body. So you actually, it goes through the process of like, and a lot of times senescent cells can become cancerous as you get older as well. That's the other thing. The zombie cells can become cancerous. So you're actually eradicating like cancerous potential from your body. It boosts your immune system, believe it or not. Oh no, this is not the Patreon. This is the regular webcast. This is a PG rated show, boys. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. That's not senescence, that's like senescence. Senescence. Ah! But, yeah. Like I said, you can just read about it. Just find out about it. There's a lot of peer-reviewed stuff. Hard science backed up kind of thing. It's not like, my name is Dr. Vulgar, and I, like some late night guy, and it's like, I have got a new system for you. It's not that. It's a lot of legitimate stuff surrounding it. So, yeah, it's what I've been doing, it's what Chris has been doing, it's worked for us, and I thought it was neat. And I thought the processes around it were pretty neat, and the different things that happen inside your body. I think that's kind of cool. So, yeah, just wanted to have a conversation topic. This should have been, this is another windy cast, and it should have, I was only gonna talk about this thing for like 12 minutes at the most. This is a full-size webcast. This was supposed to be a lightning cast. What happened? What happened? Hashtag Dorbist Award in the comment section below. Like and subscribe for all your big cat goodness. And I'll talk to you later, I guess. All right, bye. He's peeing.